Hello and welcome to easyodds.com. My name is Ross Casey. I'm here with the horse racing extraordinaire, that is Jake Johns. We're here to talk about the Betfair Chase at Haydock this week. But before we do, let's briefly touch on the Bet Victor Gold Cup from last week in the video where you found second place 20 to 1. So if you had an each way bet there's plenty of place money for you. How did you feel the race went?
Well, it went perfectly for him. More of that was my other tip. Really, really disappointing. Apparently they couldn't find anything wrong with him after Everwood's. John Joe O'Neill's said it's the best horse he's ever trained, so he's obviously a bit of an enigma, quite hard to train. Absolutely fantastic run from Village Vic, front run the whole way. Wears his heart on his sleeve. Fantastic ride from Richard Johnson. Just got pegged on the line by a pretty well handicapped horse. So 20 to 1. He looked like he was going to win. They were going over the last half. It was horrible, but still good for place money. At the time, I was absolutely gutted, but thinking about it, it's still all right, isn't it? 20 to 1 second.
It's not bad, Jake. And he's followed that up, has Jake Johns, with 3 out of 4 tip of the day winners over on easyodds.com. So make sure that you follow us on our social channels on both Facebook and on Twitter, where he's posting those tips, including some big price winners as well. So let's move on to the Betfair Chase for this weekend, Jake. Let's see how this race, you see it, how it's panning out.
Yeah, it's obviously the first Grade 1 of the season over in the UK. There's been one over in Ireland, but it's the first one in England. Runs at Haydock on Saturday. It's also the opening leg to a £1 million treble, which Q-Card very nearly won last year. He won this last year as well. The £1 million treble basically is if you win this, the King George and the Gold Cup, then you get a £1 million bonus. Q-Card showed that he was back to his best when he destroyed, back to his better than he's ever been, in fact, when he absolutely destroyed Silvagnac Conti. I actually tipped him at 3 to 1 for this last year, on the bridle, never broke a sweat, and he's back for more this time. And I'm a massive fan of Q-Card, absolutely massive. I thought he had a huge shot to the Gold Cup. Obviously, I was flying the flags for Gigerstown and Don Cossack. As some of you may know, I was really obsessed with Don Cossack last season. But I really thought he had a great chance at the Gold Cup. But I thought Q-Card was he was my main worry. He was definitely my main worry of the field. Obviously, he came down, went absolutely tanking. It's pretty much it's very hard to say that far out if he would have won, but he couldn't have been going any better. He obviously would have been really, really close. He would have been bang there. He either would have been second or first, most likely. Can't tell, but considering how well he ran next time at Aintree, absolutely destroyed Don Poli. He obviously would have gone close. So I would have been very worried if he stayed up. But obviously he was absolutely fine, which is the main thing. Disappointed at the end of the season, a hard race at Punchestown. Obviously he had a really hard season, but it was still disappointing. The first time out of the season he ran in the Charlie Hall. Might have gone to the front too early. A lot of people slated Paddy Brennan's ride. But you can't really avoid the facts. He was beaten by Irish Cavalier, who just isn't that good, really. Unless Irish Cavalier has improved an absolute ton. I just don't see why he should have been beaten by Irish Cavalier and Minora. I just think if he was in the same form as he was last year, he would have won that, even if he did go to the front too early. I just think I have an inkling that he might be on the downgrade. He's quite old now. He's a 10-year-old. It's a hard one. If that was just a complete blip, which horses have all the time. Think about Forheen. He lost and then absolutely battered everyone. That was a complete freak occurrence. That could have been the case. He might have just needed the run as he's older now. If he's like he was last year, if he's at that level, then it's going to be tough to oppose. It's going to be tough to beat. But he's 7 to 4. So I'm going with one with a tiny bit bigger price. Coneygree, horse I tipped for the Gold Cup when he won in 2015. Obviously, it's a big risk because he's so lightly raced, especially for his age. Trained by Mark Bradstock. Mark Bradstock, he obviously runs a really, really small operation. Just happens to have a fantastic horse in there. He's only had one winner this season, out of not that many rides. Coneygree, totally different ball game to any of the other horses he's trains. He's an absolute superstar, different gravy. He's won 9 of his 11 career starts, including an obviously all the way absolute pile driver from the front at Cheltenham, where he just demolished the field. Absolutely brutal ride, fantastic ride from Nicola Bourne Boy, jumped perfectly, so efficient over the fences. He just pounds horses into submission, Denman-like, basically. I wanted him to go for the Hennessy because he could have Denmaned everyone in that like he did. But yeah, he is an absolute beast. He only managed one run last season because obviously he's really injury prone. Got injured after that. 25 length victory over 7th Sky. He hasn't been seen since then.
25 length.
Yeah, it was only a 3-horse race, but it was still impressive. 7th Sky's a quite good marker. Injury shock again, so he's so lightly raced for his age. Obviously, he won the Gold Cup as a novice, but when you consider in that run before he won the Gold Cup as a novice, he was out for even longer on his first run of that run into that race, and he won easily ahead of Del Arca, who was also decent, and he hasn't lost since then, which was absolutely ages ago. Obviously, 2014. In terms of conditions, the ground is likely to be soft. There's quite a lot of rain forecast, which will be absolutely perfect for him. There's no better sight than soft ground, him just bombing it in front and just trying to run the race out of everyone. If QCar can keep up with him, and if he's there right at the finish, then I'll be panicking. Then I will be panicking. But I don't think anyone's going to be able to live with him, to be honest. I'll be shocked if anyone could keep up with him, that's for sure. See You at Midnight is another recognised front runner who will like the soft ground as well. Ran arguably his best ever race when he destroyed Bristol de Mai last time on his first run of this season. Only a 2-runner event. Not a big fan of Bristol de Mai at all. He was a lot of people's horses to follow this year. I think he's obviously a very good horse. He's no slouch, but in terms of Grade 1 ability, I think he likes to boss fields from the front. If he can boss a small field from the front, then he can look really impressive because his jumping's good. But can't see him winning a really good Grade 1. But he's definitely no slouch. And he got absolutely destroyed by See You at Midnight. He's got a chance at 10-1 if Coneygree is not 100%, which I guess it's possible, but the vibes are really, really good coming out of the yard. Richard Johnson schooled him the other day, so that makes obviously that you think he's going to ride him on Saturday, and he is the ultimate front-running jockey. There's so many positives for him. Richard Johnson is the absolutely unbelievable setting fractions, so good at the finish. It's just perfect. It's just a perfect combination, I'd say. Nico de Boinville knows him better, so maybe preference would be for him, but obviously Richard Johnson is the best jockey around, in England at least. I just don't think anyone would be able to live with him, and he's still 9-4, which is a decent price. He goes really, really well fresh, as I mentioned before, as long as the injuries haven't taken their toll, which is a possibility, but I don't know. I don't think they'd run him if there was any chance, if he wasn't 100%, especially in a Grade 1 first time out. So that's, Coneygree at 9-4.
So there you have it. There's another selection from Jake Johns after his double yesterday, which I'm sure that plenty of you were on, as we saw plenty of replies from our Twitter followers that were very happy with you, Jake. And I'm sure with the reasonings that he's given there for the Betfair Chase, that could be a 9-4 winner for Coneygree. So don't forget to subscribe to our channel using the button below. There's also my Premier League tips for Game Week 12, including a very interesting entrance and outro from Jake Johns. So
that's what I do.
It's probably worth watching just for Jake's...
That's just what I do now. I don't know why.
Jake's slide up and slide down exit. So thanks very much for watching. I've been Ross Casey, and this is Jake Johns.